Okay, hi, this is Victor, and in this video you see the two candidates for president speaking at their respective rallies. The felon and former president continues the name calling and is still babbling about immigrants being criminals and rapists. A couple of hundred years ago, whites in America had been spreading similar rumors about black people. Meanwhile, Harris continues to talk about achieving a positive outlook for all American people and maintaining border security. Meathead continually attacks Harris with what he thinks she may do, but notice that he offers no suggestion of any plan for the country, because he has none. You can't believe Meathead. He is well known for passing miles of bullshit. Please watch this video.
Donald Trump does not want to be a dictator for a day. He was already a dictator. Take a look at his last 4 years in office, and you'll see exactly what authoritarianism looks like. Kamala Harris, in contrast, is celebrating democracy. And often we don't combine these messages. We see them in their separate information silos. So what I thought I would do was take Kamala Harris's recent rally and Donald Trump's recent rally and combine them, so you get a sense of how different the mood is, the energy, but more importantly, the rhetoric. From Donald Trump, we hear hatred, negativity, talking down on the country, referring to immigrants as rapists and as drug dealers, which is entirely untrue, and Kamala Harris's message of integration, positivity, and joy.
We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families.
We're going to evict crazy Kamala. Do you know, ever hear of Kamala? Radical left. Radical left.
I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging. I will take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families.
She wants to allow millions of people to pour into our border through an invasion, using an invasion process.
There you go, spreading miles and miles of bullshit.
A future with affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid leave. A future where we build a broad-based economy where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, to build wealth.
Preventing World War III, especially for all these young people, these young, beautiful people. We don't want to get them into World War III. And stopping a 1929-style depression, because that's what's going to happen.
I will take on Big Pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. And all of this is to say, unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
And they're easy questions, you know, because the press, look at them back there, look at all of them, a lot of press. They're rigged. They're rigged. They're fake news.
So look, America has tried so many of those failed policies before, and like we all know, we're not going back.
America cannot survive for 4 more years of this bumbling communist lunatic. Look, we cannot let her win this election. It's not a...
You are the lunatic. She is the more qualified person. She is a career attorney. She worked her way up to where she is. She's a former attorney general in one of our states. She knows much more on how to get things accomplished than you do. You, however, was given much of whatever you have. You're born with a silver pitchfork up your ass, and you've always been selfish most of your adult life.
Listen to me. We can't let her win this election. If she wins this election, we're not going to have a country anymore.
The issue of immigration. So I was Attorney General of a border state. I went after the transnational gangs, the drug cartels, and human traffickers. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. So I know what I'm talking talking about.
There's never been a border like this that allows millions and millions of people in a month from mental institutions and prisons. Let them come into our country.
We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship.
He ordered tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay? He signed a law letting the state kidnap children to change their gender so that they go home. But I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about her. This is her ideology. That's why she picked him. And he signed a bill allowing pedophiles to claim human rights protections under the state law.
The freedom to vote. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride.
They want to take away your guns, and then they want to have our country overrun with some of the worst criminals there are anywhere in the world. And they come from all over the world. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from the Middle East. They come from all over. A large boatload came recently from the Congo.
But Donald Trump does not want to fix this problem. Be clear about that. He has no interest or desire to actually fix the problem. He talks a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk. Earlier this year, we had a chance to pass the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades. But Donald Trump tanked the deal because he thought by doing that it would help him win an election. But when I am president, I will sign the bill.
We're becoming, if they get in, a communist, full-blown communist country. This is America. We're not a communist country. We're not going to let that happen.
And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
The moment I take the oath of office, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send the illegal...
We're going to build another fucking wall? Who's going to pay for it? Oh, Mexico. That's right. Mexico paid for that piece of shit wall, right? No, they did not.
Back home where they belong.
In over 20 states in our nation, there is a Trump abortion ban.
Here's all we're going to do. It's going to be called a Trump mass deportation. If Harris wins, a never-ending stream of illegal alien rapists, MS-13 animals, and child predators will ravage your communities.
And just yesterday, in a press conference, we got a fresh reminder of what Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda would do. It would ban medication abortion in every state.
Stuart, they're going to be coming at you at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's going to be as vicious as any crime ever seen in this country before.
But we are not going to let that happen because we trust women.
Vote Republican, and we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. They're being raped. They're dying. The whole thing is a horror show.
And when I am president of the United States, and when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedoms for every woman in America, I will sign it into law.
Because that's what they're good at. They're con people. You know, they are misinformation, disinformation.
No, you are the con person. You're the con man. Remember, you were guilty in the state of New York of embezzling money from a charity, and you were ordered by a court to pay millions and millions of dollars back. That happened over 4 years ago.
Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. Now, the baton is in our hands. Each and every one of us. So we who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. And we who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws.
We will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to bring them way down.
The United States Supreme Court basically just told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward, he will be effectively immune no matter what he does in the White House. But think about what that means. Think about what that means in this election. Think about what that means. He's been effectively told he will be immune if he's back in the White House. Think about what that means when you remember Donald Trump has openly vowed, if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one. That he will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Remember that he even called for the, quote, termination of the Constitution of the United States.
We will deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. You see what's happening. And before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will restore peace through strength. That's what I did. We had no wars.
We love our country, and I do believe it is the highest form of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country. That's how we preserve the promise of America. And after all, the promise of America is what makes it possible for Governor Walz and me to be on the same stage together.
On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. We're not going to do it.
We together, all of us, we're running this campaign on behalf of all Americans, from red states to blue states, from the heartland to the coast. And when we are elected, we will govern on behalf of all Americans. All Americans.
I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate.
Do we want to live in a country of chaos, fear, and hate? Or a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law?
I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country, and I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. They don't want voter ID.
Are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
So there you have it. Two versions of America. It's up to you which one you choose. Do you want the old racist man who wants to take America back to the 1950s, take away women's rights and the rights of minorities and any social groups that don't look like him? Or do you want to be represented by Kamala Harris, not just a woman, but a woman of color, with experience and with intention, because she believes in being a president for all Americans, not just a select few. And she is describing America that is optimistic and actually represents and reflects what we are living in right now. Donald Trump's dystopian version of America is not reality. It does not exist. all of these people complaining about immigrants never meet an immigrant. They don't come into contact with an immigrant. And so this kind of rhetoric, this hate and this negativity, really, it's not rooted in reality. It is just dog whistles and a kind of racist call to action. So you have a choice. I don't, as an immigrant, I don't get to vote. But I do get to remind you that this is the most important election in history. We are choosing between fascism and freedom, between dictatorship and democracy. Kamala Harris is the only person offering the kind of freedoms that we deserve, that America stands for. Donald Trump, his version of America, is one of hate, one of negativity, and of this far-right Christian nationalism that nobody asked for and nobody wants. So the choice is down to you, but it can only happen. And Donald Trump's plan to kind of rig the election or claim that there was fraud or cheat in some way, that can only be overcome if there is a record turnout for Kamala Harris. There needs to be no doubt who is the winner in November. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.
I really like this video because it very clearly displays the contrast between the two messages. Meathead continues to moan, groan, bitch, and complain, and passes fake bullshit about the more qualified person, which is Harris. Remember, Harris is a career attorney. She worked her way up to get to where she is. She's a former attorney general in one of our states. She knows much, much more on how to get things accomplished. She has great experience in working with people. Trump, however, does not have that experience or knowledge that she has. He was given much of whatever he has, and he was born with a silver pitchfork up his ass. And he has always been selfish much of his adult life. Thank you for watching.